it's so exciting because the silver the past month has been like a, I don't know, a leopard with new spots or something. It's trading totally differently. It was just about a month ago, and silver was down about 1750, and it was a day when all the markets were getting hit. The base metals, oil, the stock market, gold was down. Everything was the dollar was up. It was a bloodbath in a way, and silver closed 30 cents higher. And I thought it might have been J.P. Morgan covering. I said, well, I haven't seen a day like this in years and years and years. And since then, it's fed on itself. And at the time, and some of you that follow my stuff, we said, we think silver's in play. There's a squeeze coming. And from my sources, I know that big players have moved into buying the physical silver market. And we believe that this gold cartel, the silver price managers, have hit the wall. And as some of you may know, the other day there were no deliveries in silver, which is important because if there's a lot of supply around, the shorts want to get rid of their supply at the beginning of a trading month in this time of September. And all of a sudden there were just no deliveries. The spreads in the market are very tight. And again, my sources say that the Chinese and Arabs and some big traders that have not been in silver before have been moving in the past few weeks. If this is true, and we believe it is, and I don't expect it Tuesday because I'll jinx it if I said that, and we've had a good run up here, as you know, the past couple days. Silver is just explosive, and there's no telling what it could do because we don't believe that J.P. Morgan and the rest of the gold cartel has the physical silver to back up their derivatives trading on the futures market and elsewhere. So we believe that we could have some serious problems there in the near future and be very exciting. I know some of you know Spot Asset Management in Canada is a big Gata supporter. Eric is just jumping up and down and has been the past 2 weeks about silver. And as you all know, we closed just shy of $20 on Friday, and it went all on its own, and it couldn't be more exciting. So what we think's happening here is that the gold cartel is gradually falling apart. They can always win a battle here, but we're getting ready to some serious excitement for both gold and silver, and the prices go much higher because, reasons that you don't need me to tell you, to own both precious metals are going off the charts. And, quantitative easing is here and blah, blah, blah. But the key to the market is to know what Gata knows, which you fellows here know it cold, but you don't get from the mainstream gold world or Wall Street. And that is the forces that have been suppressing the price are retreating and about ready to get their head handed to them, and that's going to be the major reason is the physical market's going to overpower their ability to suppress the price. And it's a very exciting time, and it's a great time to be paying attention here because I call silver the mule. I mean, silver just does it. I've traded in the past, in the old days. It just goes, and when it goes, there's no market going to move to the up, and it does it on its own. And it's sure enough, I've been talking about this for years, and sure enough, it's done it again in the past week or two. It's just silver just standing out. So, again, I'm very happy to be here. I know you've got a lot of questions. There's a lot of, so much else I can cover. We're suing the Fed, things like this. But I want to get into your questions, and I'm sure you've got a lot of the Gata information as I answer the questions. So again, I want to thank everybody for being here. We've got a lot of fun coming this fall, and let me see if I can be of any help to any of the people that are on board here. So take it away. Any questions?
Yeah, I'll ask a quick question to kind of get things started. I just bought a few ounces, well 5 to be exact, of that silver bullion. It's a shot, the silver shot. And I just kind of wonder what your take was on that. I always, thought small weights would be the best for when the price explodes. But I just didn't know what your take was. Okay, am I any louder now?
Okay, can you hear me? Okay, what is happening now? That a lot of the people selling gold and silver are selling much more volume in silver now than gold because of the price differences. While gold is still cheap from where it's going to go, a lot of people that don't realize what's going on think it's expensive, so they're jumping into silver. I'm no expert on which going to have the... I think my common sense tells me that the cheapest way to buy it, where every person's going to want to get involved. Right now, the public can't spell gold and silver. You all are smart. You've been up on it. You know what's happening. The average person in America doesn't own any, doesn't know much about it. If you go ask a lot, 50 of your friends how many own gold and silver, except outside of this kind of a group, there's not many. So the easiest, cheapest way to buy it is probably going to get the best premiums because that's where the average person can get in there, and it's going to be like the internet craze was in 1999. I mean, it's going to be bananas, and we're not even close yet. So everyone's going to want to own it.
Okay, thank you there, Bill. A question I have, Bill, is about the industrial market. I've been looking at this thing for several years, and I focused a lot on the industry, on how much silver is being supplied to the industry. And I'd like your take on the industrial market. I myself believe that the corporations are sitting back and trying to decide when to hit the buy it now button. And when that does happen, I would like for you to give us your take on what's going to happen.
Well, the question is going to be, let me put it this way. Gata's got very much into this fractional gold reserve banking with the LBMA. We have a fellow named Adrian Douglas who's been really tremendous, and we have a fellow, as a well-known guy, who went to the LBMA and said, we believe that for every ounce of gold and silver they have sold it over and over again. And that's why this bullion bank has been so profitable, because nobody went to get their actual gold and silver. In other words, what I'm saying is that if somebody had, say, 10 ounces of gold, maybe how many, they've sold it multiple times, anywhere from, 2 to 50 times, and they've been able, the same gold and silver, and they put it in what they call unallocated accounts, which means it's in a general pot. It's not under your name. And so it's allowed them to get all this money selling the same thing and investing it in their businesses. So it was like free money. And as long as people didn't ask for their gold, or gold didn't go up too much in any one year, it was a profitable business. So getting back to your question, well, first of all, this one fellow was big-time guy, said, the guy said, about only 2% of the people asked for their gold or silver. He said, well, what happens if more ask for it? And the LBMA guy said, well, then we go into real price discovery, meaning, holy moly, what would then happen? And actually, we think now it's begun to happen. But regarding the industry, and I'm relating to that because will the physical silver be there? And that's a real question. I mean, I'm not an expert like some others. I think I am in gold, but in terms of the supply-demand stuff in silver, there are better guys than me out there. But I know, as you well do, that the applications for silver are growing quite a bit for industrial use. And I know that fact, and I know that's likely to continue. So what I can bring to the party is if people are waiting to buy and they need it, they probably should secure it now. I can say this: there are new big buyers in this market, and that's the reason it's trading so well. And the key is they're going after the physical market now as well as the futures. In the past, the spec buyers would come in, but the physical market, say, wasn't as strong as the derivatives market, and then J.P. Morgan, when the specs got too low, could bomb the market and just rate it and force them out. Now what's happening is, because of the physical market being so strong, they had not been able to do that, at least as of Friday. So all I can say is I think we have an explosion coming, so that industrial users ought to price in what they have now. And then the question is really supply, and that's when we get excited, because this talk about what could happen if the COMEX declares force majeure, meaning they can't be delivered and so on. That's a whole different subject. But right now what they need to do is at least price in their future needs.
Go ahead, Endless Mountain.
Hello, this is Derek, and I'm looking, well, I've got a chart in front of me on my screen. I know you can't see it. We're talking about this price explosion, and throughout the last week or so, I've been connecting the dots mainly, and a long time ago, well, back in the 70s, silver was at $1.25, and it only took 2 years for it to pretty much gain 4 times its value from that level. And it had one heck of a consolidation through time before it had its ultimately huge spike up to the 50 area once again, 4 times the rate. And currently we're seeing these same consolidations both over the last few years, like 3 or 5, and the last few months. And working within the mathematical Fibonacci, one, it says it's looking like, hey, it needs to break it right now. And the second is the exponential gains really show moves like 32, 50, 78, 100. Those would be the next 4. And the one question that I have, other than if this relates to within the big spike, I've heard WebBot and other one's talking about how it's both gold and silver are going up huge. But as far as the shorts are concerned, I have really not, or I really know a level it would get to if, say, they had to cover even upwards to 1/2, 3/4. So I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
Well, it's a lot to handle. The fun thing I can say is that a few weeks ago I had sandwiches with the Hunts, and we went over what happened to them and so on, and how interesting it is today that here it's just a reverse situation of what they did, and yet the government does nothing, meaning they actually played by the rules, and as you probably know, the government changed the rules, and Bunker went bankrupt on the whole thing. So now you've got Morgan doing bunches much more short, I believe, than Bunker Hunt was long, and yet they let them. Maybe what goes around comes around here, and the government's going to get theirs. When it comes to price targets, I don't know, but technically, as you guys follow this, it's the weekly made a multi-decade high close. It's a massive base below where it closed, and technically you can see prices easily sharp to 30. And of course, who knows what could happen if what God is talking about in the physical situation, that people start asking their gold from the LBMA and so on. I mean, there's no telling what this can do. I mean, but to pick a number on it, your number is as good as anybody's, and I just know that this situation is explosive, and it's like how do I explain it? Markets, when they disappoint like they did so many years because of the manipulation and because of Morgan, it's too much silver was sold at too cheap a price, and now it's not there. And that's what set up some market explosions. And that's what I see coming. That's what the market's telling us. That's what the technicals tell us. And even getting some help even from the stock market not falling apart. I mean, all the base metals were flying this week. So you've got to set up for silver to just explode. The open interest keeps going up, which means that's the buyers and sellers on the COMEX. It means that this gold cartel, the silver price managers, are digging in. I talk a lot about a commercial signal failure, which we've been looking for a long time. That means when the commercials, some of them are forced to cover, and that's when you get your panic buying and the open interest actually goes down. You can see, I don't know, silver can go up $3 in a day like I expected. So all I know is it's the downside here is risk-reward ratio is minimal. The upside is just explosive, and it could do things that people can't imagine because of this setup that we have.